I think that worked. Okay, good.
Wow.
Hey, I'm Kimile Shock Talking.
I'm Gretchen. I'm just going to be quiet.
Well, that's because you got her mouth open.
No, because I'm the one that's always talking, but... and here I go again. No, but I just want to say this. If you follow us,
Yeah.
you'll see it. You know that Kimile is intuitive.
I'm mouthy.
I'm trying to give you a compliment. Shut up. No, she's intuitive.
Yeah.
And so when she talks about Uranus, you better stop what you're doing and listen.
You better listen up, sugar.
Okay, so here we go.
Well, I just wanted to let people know what's happening when we've got the planet Uranus that went into Taurus, so this is a big deal. We haven't had this for about 82, 84 years.
And this affects everybody, not just Taurus, right?
It affects the Earth, it affects people, it affects everybody. But we had this 82, 84 years ago, and you think about what happened in the world in that era. Well, that's when Hitler rose to power. So, yeah, and do I think Hitler's going to come back around? I don't. I think we're a lot more evolved as a society. We're smarter. We're not going to let that happen. However, I see what's happening in Syria. The world sees what's happening in Syria. And I do think Putin is financing chemical tests on Syrian leader killing his people. Now, my hunch on this, for what it's worth, I think this is how Putin thinks he's going to have power over the United States. We have the military mass. We are the superpower. There's no way Russia's going to take us down. He knows that. So the dirty-handed way of going about things would be to have chemical warfare. Well, he's testing it on these innocent Syrian victims.
Which is exactly what happened.
And that is, he is former
form of
KGB.
Yeah.
I know he was former KGB. He worked for Hitler. He's a mass murderer. So, but he's paying this guy to kill his own people. That's what grosses me out. But there's some, and if you look at anybody that goes against, Putin, what happens to them? They got poof in their face. There's chemical, and these people croak. Anybody talking against him. Yeah. I guess I better shut my mouth. Anyway, so I'm looking at all this, but it is something that is something to pay attention to, because I do think there's going to be some abuse of power try to come out. And people will have to watch for this. We are dealing with abuse of power with the whole Me Too movement, the sexual abuse scandals, and we have just started. This is going on until 2026. So there are going to be a lot more people in power that come toppling down because of women or men that come forward and say this guy abused his power.
Let me ask you a question on that. Do you think because more is coming out, and thank God it is,
Truly.
do you think our prison systems are going to have to make a shift, and our courts are going to have to make a shift to go, okay, hang on. Obviously, there's way too many people getting away with shit.
Yes, but there's going to have to be some evolved, raise a vibration, y'all, because our prisons are hemorrhaging. We don't have enough guards. And who wants that as a career choice? Prison guard. That's something that people aren't going to want to do. Right. But there's going to have to be some involvement as a humanity, as society. Now, and I'll tell you when people have to grow is when they're in scarcity. Okay, necessity truly is the mother of invention. So, with your because you're a single mom, you had to sort it out. So did I, right? I mean, when you got scarcity issues, you're going to figure stuff out. We are also hemorrhaging at borders. Okay, so other countries, other places that don't allow freedoms, that don't allow humanity to rise out of suppression, that's going to be up in our faces, and border issues are going to continue to be a problem. We aren't going to be able to fence everybody out and just live in our own little oasis. That's not going to work.
Well,
however,
what you're saying, what I'm thinking you're saying is when you have these suppressive countries, people want to leave, and where do they go? They go to
freedom.
the U.S.
Well, that's because we're freedom.
Right.
So we have to start transplanting ourselves into these other organizational, businesses, and maybe go to these other countries and educate democracy, educate, mediation instead of war. There's going to have to be an evolved way of dealing with humanity because we have one small planet here. I do believe in the next 8 years. Here's some predictions for you. This sounds crazy, but I think space travel is a reality. That is, we're going to have a hotel in space. I believe we will be able to travel in space. It'll be a lot cheaper in the next 8 years, but space travel is going to be huge. And I also think now that the Air Force has come out and they validated UFOs. They say, yep, we've dealt with UFOs routinely, and this is going on all the time.
Don't you remember, like as a kid, you would see those government
it was a weather balloon
with
yes.
the little white dot and it cracks and all that kind of stuff. It was a really old film, but it was such a cover up for them to talk about UFOs, to talk about aliens, and you always knew that something's out there, but nobody's talking about.
Well, you're just crazy if you think that. Well, and there's a lot of people that are relieved that Area 51, there's something going on out there. Now I'll tell you, yawning on me. You say you better not yawn on me. So I'm yawning with you, Miss USA. So, but I do think what's happening is they are preempting something. Okay, why is the Air Force now finally saying they exist? What's going to happen? Now, if there's ever going to be a spaceship landing and little people come out of it, it's now. It's seriously now with Taurus, with Uranus in the sign of Taurus.
What does all that mean, Uranus in the sign of Taurus?
Uranus is the planet of unpredictable. It is, it's like lightning striking. You can't predict it. You can't count on it. You can't, control it. But Uranus is also technology. It's outer space. It's limits that we haven't yet seen. The new telescope. Hubble's retired. Hubble's phenomenal, but it had its barrier. Yeah, that's it. So when that threshold was met, it can't see further than that. This new telescope is going to see a lot further than Hubble. Phenomenal. And in the next 4 years, could be this year even, they will see the origins of our Earth and the universe. The Big Bang Theory, whatever. We will see that all happening. Right. Hubble's photographed all of this. And the expansion of the universe is continue. It's just expanding. It's not contracting. We are expanding. So as a species, as a human race, we have to evolve into bigger spaces too. And I think we will actually be traveling through space.
We're going to have out of room.
Well, but again, necessity. Mother of invention is necessity. We do need more room. We need more resources, or we won't make it as a species. So you yawn again. I swear to God.
I didn't.
You need some water.
Listen, but I want to ask you this. So, with
am I talking too much for you, girl?
I'm curious. With the volcanic activity that's happened in Hawaii, was that around this retrograde?
It was exactly the day of May 15th. And here's what happened the last time Uranus moved. Uranus went into Aries 8 years ago. And guess what date it went into Aries? The day of the Fukushima plant disaster in Japan.
Wow.
That's when that happened. Now, we've continued to have chronic volcanic activity, even in Guatemala. That huge, they call it the big fire volcano. But it's going to kill thousands, okay? But we are now entering into the volcanic activity is what it seems like to me. That was a nuclear disaster, and I think that nuclear disaster is still affecting our oceans. But our oceans are in trouble. It's scary to me. Leonardo DiCaprio, keep up your good work. I love what he's up to. I watched him. I'm tracking him. That man is phenomenal. He knows what he's doing. He's so smart.
Right.
Elon Musk, keep up your good work. I mean, we need these kind of innovative people, but technology is going to be ratcheted up. This is going to be an era of explosive healing and technology, and it's going to actually probably help all the resources of the planet. Taurus is resources. Taurus is money, it's food, it's water, it's our survival stuff.
Right.
So when Uranus hits our survival, it's our money, it's our economy. It's worldwide economy. So when Wrecking Ball Taurus hits that, Uranus hits that, Taurus, boom, it goes kaboom. So our infrastructure, how we spend money, we may end up in a cashless society going to technology era of Bitcoin or something like that, right? It's volatile right now because there's no regulation around it, or it's getting there. But you got to understand that our resources are we're in danger, frankly. And water supply, y'all. That's where I'm focused. Like I have a concern about water supply, food supply, water supply. It is in resources, and I do kind of think we're on a financial bubble. So the market's going to be even more volatile. But even the housing market, we're on a bubble. So I think we're going to have one more hit. I think we have till March, April of next year, so 2019, and then I think we're going to start seeing some things like I'm talking about with the world and infrastructure kind of collapsing a little bit.
Wow.
The breakdown has to happen before the breakthrough happens.
Do you think that we're being set up for another depression?
That's what it would feel like. We came out of the Depression, then we kind of had the Hitler era. So I'm not sure if I think history repeats itself. I'm not sure if it's going to be a huge depression.
I meant like financially with the market and all of that.
Yeah, I think money's going to be harder to come by. I think the gap's growing. I think the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Middle class will probably not exist. Which again, now you're going to have border issues. You think you have border issues now. What's going to cause people to be like, fuck off? We're not going to be living in poverty while you sit fat and happy. They're going to be breaking through the borders. That's where things are going to be a little more sketchy and scary.
What's your thought on ISIS and all of that movement that's been happening for the last however many years?
That's going to honestly continue. And let me tell you why that kind of stuff works. It's violence. Violence commands respect. Violence works. That's why it keeps happening, y'all. A gun in your face commands respect. You will do what you're told to do because you don't want to die.
Right.
So these again, powerless poverty-stricken, they need some sort of voice. They want some sort of movement. They want something to change. But what they're doing as a dictator is they're going to come in and be the hammer. I'll just control it and make it happen. No, there's got to be some teamwork. If you want a total economy shift, if you want the country to rise up, everyone gets to rise up. No one left behind. But you don't have leadership there. You've got bullies there.
Right.
They lead little gangs. Gangs get sprouted up because they're non-conforming, and violence does work, and it has immediate respect. You get immediate regard from other men. So it's going to keep happening until
Do
that
you
doesn't work.
think that situations like 9/11 are still going to keep springing up? I mean,
Yes.
I work in news, and it seems to be. Do you remember when the Columbine shooting happened?
Yes.
That was so
earth-shattering,
devastating. And now,
Earth-shattering.
while every event that happens is horrific
routine now.
and catastrophic, it's not as shocking to the brain and the soul as it was.
Sad.
Because it's so
routine.
It happens so much.
Yeah. Well, we've had 22 school shootings. I mean, and again, it's doubled from last year. But again, there's something that works about that for whoever's doing it. They get immediate attention. Now, and these people typically, we can get a profiler on here. You get an FBI profiler. These kids have got something going on. And I will talk about early childhood trauma. Days ago, one of my best friends passed away. Okay, and I'll tell you what, she was in pain. She's a wounded healer. This woman was phenomenal. I will miss Jan Miller forever. Sorry. But this stuff has got to stop because these little kids. I love that little student that was talking at the White House, and he's asking questions of Sarah, and he's saying, "We're scared. What do we do here?" And she got teary-eyed. Moved me, because that's exactly what these little experiences are going through, and it's going to be the children of this world. Mark my words, the kids, our schools, our teenagers, these kids are going to be the ones that come out, and they will handle the politicians. They will create the movement. And I hate that they have to be sacrificed. Their lives are being sacrificed. Their future's being sacrificed.
It is.
All these kids are going through trauma. How do you think they're going to play that out in the future? Trauma as a child creates addiction as an adult. If they don't do cognitive therapy or EMDT, whatever, something to deal with trauma. And it's just going to feed itself, because this is exactly why these people get postal in the first place. These kids getting postal in the first place. The system's broken. There's no voice for these people.
I do think a couple things are happening with this millennial and even the younger generation, in that, number one, tradition is not the way it was. Meaning, first of all, religion.
Oh, yeah.
Religion, traditionally has just been like, you are just taught that's how your family is, and you just follow.
Don't question.
I think kids, and I can say this because I'm a mom,
Yeah.
kids now are saying, hang on, I need a question or two or 12 or 20 answers.
Yes.
And if you can't answer that, then maybe I don't want to be a part of that, and I'm going to go find my own answers.
Yep. Well, and I think I applaud that. I want critical thinkers at the helm. I don't want nothing but sheep.
Well, I mean, and
Can you imagine?
Yeah, because you think about where our world is now. We are a world, not a country. We are a world of followers primarily.
That's right.
We find a leader and we follow that.
That's right.
Whether it's in a church, it's in a
we
business,
need that.
it's in a
that.
government.
But we need integrous leaders. We need people. Yeah, we need somebody who has integrity. And a lot of these politicians, they could talk the talk, they can't walk the walk. Can you imagine what's going to happen to religion, all religions, if we have alien life forms show up and say, "Oh, no, honey, that's not your root."
And they're like, "I've been watching you for a long time.
We've been trying to enter in, and we've been killed off, and we've been shot at, and your government said no." Look, if there's some sort of policing going on out there, we don't know about it. But can you imagine what's going to happen to religion when an alien, says your origins come from, 10 billion years ago, and it was this planet. I'll show you your great grandpa. I mean, can you imagine that kind of stuff?
I think, and here's just my opinion.
Religion's on notice.
You know me and Netflix.
Oh, yeah, this girl binge watching that shit.
Actually, this was on A&E. It wasn't even on Netflix, and it's on right now if you want to catch it.
What is it?
It's cults.
Oh, I love that. I've seen that.
Okay, and here's the part that I always just go, huh?
Yeah.
Adult thinking people. We're not talking about young children. They are a product of the family and whatever it's going through. But I'm just saying, these leaders that are presenting themselves as a Messiah.
Oh, God talks to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just watching one yesterday on the Jehovah's Witnesses, and it was talking about how, and I don't know what's taught now, but this was a woman telling her story when she was growing up. So
Right.
she's probably in her 50s now. But she just said, we were taught when it rains and there's a thunderstorm, you be very, very scared because Armageddon is coming.
Oh, wow.
And if you're not doing what Jesus wants you to do, you will be, and they basically made little cartoon movies of a city in fire, and you will be there and not be saved.
Ridiculous.
So you live in a fear, right?
Yeah, but
and
that's
you live
the
in
goal.
a fear, and that's the cult.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, that's right.
Right. And you think about how many religions in the name of something good are brainwashing people to believe and follow a path that is so
And don't think for
wrong.
yourself. You ignore that that self-preservation chip is not turned on.
No.
You know what the pituitary gland looks like? Pituitary gland is the spiritual center of every human being, just so you know, okay? That is where spirituality hits. That's the gland of spirit. Pituitary gland looks like a pine cone. Now, I want you to look at all these fences or any decoration at a church or a monastery, and you will see pine cones everywhere.
Wow.
Because that is the capturing of the pituitary gland, and then if they can capture that, they own you. That's exactly right. Yeah. And why they don't pay taxes? Religions don't pay taxes. Government likes the sheep mentality. They keep their society in order with guilt, with fear, with we
until
have the
they
answers.
go crazy, like a David Koresh. Okay.
Or until but it's also no sex. I mean, you look at some of these priests, the Catholic priests in Brazil, they can't get enough priests. You know what they're doing? They're saying, well, you can be married and be a priest now. So in that, I guess there's a convenient revelation there, right? So we can't lose the Catholic
We've
holding.
got a situation.
Got to have the Catholic holding in Brazil. So they're allowing Brazilians to be married and be a priest. But why wouldn't that be okay for every priest? And I wonder if that would eliminate some of the perversion going on in these places. I don't know that. I think pedophiles are pedophiles, but
No, but you know what I do think, and this has proven itself over history. And I was just having this conversation with my 16-year-old the other day.
Yep.
When somebody in society, whether they are a leader or, especially in a free-thinking organization, when they give you all the don'ts that you can't do,
Right.
the humanistic, is that a word? The human part of this
Human nature,
goes, I don't want to be told all these things I can't want to do. We do need structure and we do need guidance. But when you've got somebody that takes away your free thinking
Right.
without an explanation of why, it's just, you just be obedient. You just do it. You look at, if you've ever watched the Jim Jones tragedy.
Yes.
And the official, statements and audio recordings of what that man said
Right.
as they were drinking the Kool-Aid.
I know.
You know what? It's like, oh my gosh, there were people over there that were trying to escape and they were trying to run
were
into
shot.
the jungle. Yes.
they shot him. Oh yeah, they killed him.
There was a few that escaped, and even the ones that were trying to get out on the plane when
Yep.
the
killed
congressman
him.
came. Yeah,
They killed
Jim
him.
Jones said, they are followers. Go get them.
And they killed him.
Make sure. Yeah. Why? Because he didn't want the rest of the world
To
and the
know his
rest of the United
legacy.
States to know that they were up to wrong.
Yeah, his legacy of debauchery, which was raping young girls. He was a pig. He was having sex with whatever he wanted, whoever he wanted, and parents were handing these kids over. It just sickens me what people do. But again, he's going to cloak that in a religion. Well, God told me to.
Yeah.
There are more murders, there are more harms committed in the name of God than anything else. I believe there's nothing more dangerous than a religious zealot. That's what these suicide bombers are all about. They're going to go to heaven. They're going to have favor because they martyred themselves. They're martyrs. There's nothing more dangerous.
The whole reason why I brought that up is
Yep.
you talk about kids that were abused, or kids that are being
Trauma.
abused, and trauma that has happened. And it doesn't have to be sexual abuse. It could be,
Beating.
they
It
were
could be-
poverty, or whatever
could be
that might
bullied.
be. Yeah,
That's trauma. Yeah.
Whatever that situation that
Yes.
has really damaged them emotionally to grow.
Some loss. Yeah.
They become adults that look for people that will take that away. So then they join, situations.
right.
Some of them like that, and they go, "Oh, I'm going to be okay." If
I
I go
finally
do,
have my daddy telling me something, or I got attention.
or if I go to Ghana and I drink a drink, that means I'm going to go live in a now happy place. It's like they lose their consciousness of
Well, they never develop their own identity. I mean, you know, the process of evolvement is we're all dependents at birth. We can't survive on our own. We won't survive without hug, touch, food, shelter, cleanliness.
Right.
Someone's got to do everything for you when you're first born, right? And then we get the me do it era, the terrible twos, right? That's 2 years of shit for parents, but it's at least some physical independence where those kids, us kids, we start walking and maybe doing our own little buttons and everything on our own. That's physical independence. Then you have at some point mental independence where they have their own thoughts, their own ideas. And that's usually about, 17, 18, 19, and emotional independence, where their emotional psyche is not attached to the ideals of the parents. They can have their own thinking, their own thinkers working, their own feeling about themselves working. Even if they disagree with their mom or their dad, they're still going to make it.
Right.
But every mammal needs love and approval from their parents. They identify who they are by how they're viewed by their adult mammal. Okay, that's normal. That's mammals. That's even animals. That's dolphins. So that's whales. I mean, this is how this really is. So when you've got a parent that is burdened or put out or disgusted or rejecting, that hits that psyche. It creates a major flaw in the operating system of human being. It can be fixed, but it takes time. And most people don't jump into therapy at 16, 17, 18. They don't sit there and go, why am I discounting myself? Why do I not trust? Why am I in this abusive relationship? This feels like love to them. They pick that kind of partner to validate their own self-unworth.
It's like people that join gangs.
Yes,
In
they
order
belong.
to be accepted
It's a new
into
family.
the family,
Yep.
we need you to prove,
Yeah.
and then the
Compromise your
consequences,
integrity. Now we own you. That's how it
if
goes.
you leave, we'll kill you.
Right. Well, and if you don't kill someone, then we got nothing on you to keep you here. And
So
we will
that
rat you
whole
out.
definition of love and acceptance is
fear.
So, yeah.
Well, it's all fear-based. But this is, human beings do get their own independence. It's physical, then emotional, mental, hopefully financial sometime soon, when they leave home. But that's how you evolve a human, and you want them to kind of be a productive person in society. But no one's going to produce a damn thing if they don't feel like they are worth anything.
Yeah.
So, and that's where addictions come in. If they're in pain, people are in mental pain, they will seek pain relief. And the quickest way for anxiety to go away is an alcohol drink or a pill or a pot or something. And, there's dabbling. There's social peer pressure and kids do stupid things at parties and stuff like that. Fine. I'm talking about the people that get stuck in, and it's a gateway to heavier things. Okay. It just kills me, these beautiful people that end up dead from overdoses. I've seen a handful of some, like George Michael. He was 2 years old, dead, and this man was extremely addicted. He was so lonely, but loneliness breaks your heart, and he just kept medicating, and eventually it's never enough. You at some point have to stop and deal with your own shit, people. But you got to have a committed listener that can listen to you better, and people can talk until they get well. I believe that. I believe they can talk until they get better. And then the pain can leave when their communication. They talk, they cry, they scream, they get
But
mad.
I think a lot of people that are in that kind of pain, Kimile, they don't want to face it.
No.
So let me go and figure out ways.
Numb out.
Again,
true.
watching a documentary, but Prince
all right.
and Michael
Yes.
Jackson were in that same mold that you're talking about, in that to the world. They have 1,000 people, trillions of people that love and adore them, but they were the most lonely human beings.
Yeah. Well, and these people that get to the top, they say it's lonely at the top. I believe that because they don't look. They're a role, and this was my dear friend. She had how many people depending on her financially? She had a big business, and these people, she can't let them down. So she's got to take something to keep going, have a drink to calm herself down. And these people do, like Elvis. I mean, I watch these talents that just get exploited and exploited and exploited. And his manager should be shot. He was a piece of shit. He took 50% of Elvis's pay. Do you know that? Can you stand that? That just what exploiter. Anyway. Don't get me started, but so the abuse of power stuff is going to come out, people. This is where the next 8 years is going to be in a society. We are going to have to deal with how people abuse their power in personal relationships and in business organizations and in the world of, sex.
Yeah.
So this stuff's going to happen. Watch, financial stuff. I don't have the answer. I'm not pretending to have the answer about managing assets, managing money. I just know that there's going to be some equality happening with people. The gap is going to happen. There's already a gap there, but the middle class will be gone. Things are going to get dicey, and then we might have a little bit of, coexisting and some equality happening. That's what is needed. So,
well, and you know what? When a system is has been broken for
It's
so
broken.
long. It has to have a change.
Well, if you look at, it's revolutionary. I mean, we will revolutionize, and history does repeat itself. Look what happened in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. We're kind of on that trajectory. So, and the next thing Uranus is going to hit is going to be Gemini, which is how we communicate to each other. So that's going to be the mental health arena. Probably the next 10 years after that is mental health stuff.
Wow.
I'll be busy. I'll be real busy. I will never have to retire. I'll be busy my whole life.
Camile's like, keep them coming.
Job security. Job security.
And when now, just so we're clear before we wrap, when
Yep.
you talk about a planet going into a sun sign,
Yes.
that does not mean it's only affecting the people that are born in that month.
No, it's affecting everybody, even if you're not a Taurus, okay? Taurus people are going through a radical personal shift in their identity, how they show up in the world. It might feel like midlife crisis or I gotta be me, whatever I gotta be me is. Taurus people tend to be pretty routine people, so change throws them. But they're going to be more verbal, more authentic, and it really does help you get to where you're supposed to be in your life.
Right.
It could be like a wrecking ball, or it could be a blessing, and amazing things happen overnight. So everybody goes through something. I think I did an astrology reading on this before.
Yeah. I just don't want
Of
y'all
how
to be
Uranus-
confused, because I was
yeah.
confused at first. I was like, oh my gosh, all
Only
this change
Taurus,
is only
yeah,
for
no.
Taurus.
It's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and it affects everybody. It happens to be in that
Different
particular
arenas.
sign.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Like Aries, it's going to be financial. Aries, you're going to go through second house. It's personal value, loving yourself. It's your value system, and it's also financial. Am I getting some? You got a little cold draft here.
No,
some spirit
I just
entering
like
in.
I look at you and I see something happening that light, like right there.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
that light is not. I see it, but I turn around, it's not there. And I don't mean the flashing lights. I mean something else.
She's got a visitor. We have a visitor.
You
We've had
know
visitors.
what though?
We have had visitors, by the way.
We have, and we're not scared.
No.
Here's what I want y'all to do is open your mind to thinking about other ways of
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to become a society of people, which I think we have, where we just go, okay, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to brush my teeth, and then you just tell me what I need to do. So when people go, how was your day? You're like, it's just like every other day, because we get mundane.
That's right. We get autopilot.
Right.
Yeah, we kind of forget to think and
But
feel.
become your own thought process. Become your own thought
Process
bank.
it yourself, exactly.
Yeah, and take in what makes sense in your life.
Yeah.
And by golly, if something is in rubbing you in a way, you just go like, I need to, as Kimile would say, I need to do some research, and you can't find an answer. Chances are you need to leave that situation.
Life shouldn't be extremely painful or difficult. I mean, if it is, there's probably something wrong, or you're supposed to learn something from it. But I'll tell you what I'm a little nervous about with people is just some extreme feelings, instant deaths. You know, Kate Spade just committed suicide. It's like there's some sort of mental shift happening in people too. And so just talk. You guys talk to each other and make sure things are okay. But people are having like they're hitting a wall. There's wall hitting going on now. Yeah.
I have a dear friend whose son, an adult son, because he has children, accidentally overdosed. And what it has done to this sweet friend, and a ripple of people that loved and cared not only for him, for his children, but extended family. I mean, people, you know how it is. I mean, you lost Jan, and it's not just a few people. It affects everyone, and so
huge community. Yeah,
I do feel like what you're saying is there will be instant tragedies that happen personally and on a big scale.
Well, and relationship breakups like you wouldn't believe, because what hasn't been working, it's like that's where I'm seeing a kink. It's like, you know, if something's been ongoing for a long period of time, people that have been using drugs to self-medicate for a long period of time or drinking or whatever, that won't keep working. So they're going to have to either go more extreme into something, or something happens that kills them, or whatever. Relationships that are, they're lukewarm, if they're not working, they're going to end. So, and this is, again, the next 8 years.
Yeah.
But I do think this cycle is going to be hitting between now and November.
So what is your advice for people overall in an everyday life to be aware, to be conscious, to be in the moment of what's going on?
Well, know what's yours and know what's theirs. So don't get enmeshed in someone else's life problem, because that's not going to work. You have to solve your own problems. They got to solve their own problems. So keep yourself clear. and support people, but don't take on their issues. And then watch for signs. Trust your gut. Like, your intuition is going to get louder. But you also want to see what's really not working in your life. And if you're feeling like you want to end something, you probably do, and you probably will. So there's life after the ending. It will work out fine, but don't keep selling out. It won't work out if you keep not being authentic. So the goal is to get authentic, become who you really are.
And that's freedom.
That's freedom. Oh yeah, it's freedom.
Yeah, that's freedom. It's interesting. And just in wrapping, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about this, my particular sun sign for the month of June.
Yep.
And so much of it talks about that authentic self.
Yep. Yeah.
Finding your authentic self, which means not the
performer.
Yeah, and not the version of what you're supposed to be and people expect you to be. People don't expect you to be anything unless you put it out there.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And even if that means that came from a family tradition, maybe you don't want that anymore.
That's right.
Figure out, your own peace.
Yeah.
And if peace in a relationship or in a job or in a religion or, whatever that is, it's really disturbing your peace.
Yeah.
I think Camile's saying take a step back and go, what's not working?
Yep.
And can I fix it?
Choose.
Or can I not?
Yeah.
And what do I do?
You don't owe anybody to live their life. You live your own life. So take care of yourself.
And that's, I love that you said that, because it's not a wrong thing.
To honor yourself.
To take. And I think as moms, we emotionally put ourselves on the back burner a lot.
Yes.
And because we're so, we have such a high desire to meet everyone else's needs.
Yeah.
That we're taught, especially in this country, it is selfish and wrong if you take care of yourself. And I don't mean go have Botox if you want to, I don't care. Okay. But I'm just saying, have some time for meditation that it's just about you.
Right.
And reflect on how you feel. Ask yourself how you feel about things. And if things aren't gelling, man,
change it.
Ask somebody else. Ask a question. If you don't get the answer you want, change it.
That's right.
Yeah. We love y'all.
Love ya. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
More later.